Hello, my name is Sean Poliseno. Welcome to the real world of real estate. Are you an agent getting into the market right now? Or are you an agent in the market and you're wondering if you should stay? Lots of people think right now is the worst time to get into the real estate industry. I'm here to tell you it's the best time. So here's a quick intro and let's get into it. Welcome back to the real world of real estate. My name is Sean Poliseno, and I am an EXP agent. I have a real estate team in the Los Angeles area, and I'm a real estate coach for Icon Coaching. And lots of agents, I can't tell you how many new agents I talk to that wonder if now is the right time to get into the real estate business. And there's many agents that are going to quit. And so that's honestly the reason why I say it absolutely is the best time to get into this business today. So we're going to discuss today why real estate is a great business to get into. I'm going to share 5 simple things that you should focus on that will guarantee that you'll make it through this next shift. And if you're a new agent watching this video wondering, should I get into the real estate business? If you come into the business focusing on these 5 simple things, I can almost guarantee that you will come through the shift and have momentum on the other side. And truly, there's lots of agents that are going to quit our business over the next, I would say 3 to 6 months, maybe 8 months. It is absolutely going to get tougher to find business. But that's not any reason why you should run away from a real estate career, as a real estate agent especially. I mean, if you think about it, we represent buyers and sellers. We're going to work both buyers and sellers in this business. So if we have more buyers and less sellers, or less sellers and more buyers, either way, we are somewhat insulated. What's going to happen is we have to up our game in lead generation to be able to guarantee that we find enough business to survive, make it through with our expenses. And it's the perfect time to play a game called red light, green light, where you actually go through your expenses and cut them so that you can lower your expenses. And if you lower your expenses and up your lead generation, you should be able to carry your revenue through in this business model so that you can continue to survive the times when it's a little tougher to find the real estate business, okay? I'm gonna give you 3 reasons why it's absolutely the best time to get in the business. And the first one is really the biggest reason. We have a lot of agents in this business that will not likely survive the market shift because it's gonna get tougher to find business. They don't have a good lead generation strategy or strategies or habits built around lead generation. And it's because of that the expenses will quickly put them out of the business as it becomes tougher to find business. So again, I'm going to cover the 5 income generating activities. And if you focus on these activities and you up your game in the number of people that you talk to, then you will absolutely do either the same or more business than you did before the shift. So just when you come into this thinking that, you know what, I'm going to have a hard time staying in business, you could actually do more business coming out of the other side of the shift than you did before. So the number one reason why you should consider getting into the real estate business now, or at least staying, is because agents are going to quit. We're going to lose a tremendous amount of agents during this time that we're in right now. And it started with the increase in the interest rate. I myself lost probably 6 or 7 buyers that were in my pipeline because they can't now afford what they wanted. They don't want to pay the higher interest rate. Affordability is affected. The monthly payment's too high. Lots of different reasons, but I lost those buyers. The difference is I'm not looking at this as a negative. It just means that I have to focus on my lead generation strategies, making enough contacts that I can go out and find 6 or 7 more buyers to replace the ones that I lost from that initial shock of the change in interest rate. Okay, it's going to get tougher. Sellers are not going to want to put their homes on the market because if they're paying 2 to 3% interest, why would they want to go into a new home paying 6% interest? So there's going to be less sellers in the beginning of the shift, and there'll be less buyers because the buyers are thinking that the market's going to crash. So many of those buyers are going to be on the fence waiting for the market to crash. Well, guess what? The market may not crash. And to be honest with you, I hold the opinion that it won't crash because We have such a low amount of homes on the market in most of these areas that supply and demand economics will reign true, and the supply side of the inventory will remain low and the demand side will remain high, as well as it'll be lower than it was before because interest rates are higher, but it'll still be high enough to maintain some appreciation. We will not fall into negative appreciation, which is when houses are actually going down. I don't believe that. And if you listen to many economists, they are saying the same thing. So, but the buyers, guess what they're waiting for? They're waiting for the market to crash, and they think it's going to crash. It'll take a little bit for them to realize that it's not going to crash, that they're going to still hear about multiple offers. They're going to still hear about activity and other people they know buying homes. And so then they're going to jump back in the market. So it'll be a shock to the market initially, but it won't be one that makes the market shift into a situation where we have a crash in housing prices. So the second reason is that if you can make it in this market, if you can learn to thrive and survive in this market, you can make it in any real estate market. This is obviously going to be a tough market, and I'm up for the challenge. I'm hoping you are as well. It's really about facing the challenge, focusing on the right activities, and having the right strategies, okay? And so I'm going to talk a little bit about those strategies here today. So the third thing is momentum on the other side of the shift. The third biggest reason why you'll want to get into the business and stay in the business now is because the momentum you will have on the other side of the shift. When we come out of the shift and the economy improves and interest rates come down, you will have tremendous momentum if you focus on the right activities. So I'm going to get right into it. The 5 income generating activities that you need to focus on are lead generation, lead follow-up, going on appointments, negotiating contracts, and practicing your scripts, dialogues, and presentations. Okay, and having the right strategies is an important part of this formula. I'm going to get into that here in just a moment before I close. Okay, so the 5 income generating activities. If you are not the type of agent that lead generates for, as a strategy, meaning you block out time in your schedule and you dial through either Facebook leads or open house leads or a farm that you're working or your sphere of influence, and you make contact with those people in those different groups. If you don't have a habit of lead generation, then you will not likely survive. These passive habits will not probably make it consistent enough for you to be able to stay and keep your revenue in front of your expenses. So what I mean is blocking out at least 3 to 4 hours a day. And if you are the type of person that was making your business, you were making enough business with 2 hours of lead gen a day, then double it. In this shift, you want to double up your efforts. So if you're doing 2 hours, now do 4 hours. If you're doing 3 hours, now do 6 hours. If you're doing 1 hour, now do 2 hours. So block out the time, double up your time, and make sure you're making active lead generation where you're picking up the phone, calling your sphere of influence. If you want to have sellers, you want more sellers, call expireds, call for sale by owners, learn the scripts and dialogues. One of the 5 income generating activities is practice your scripts and dialogues in your presentations. So if you're going to add a strategy like expireds or for sale by owners, make sure you have the presentation down for both of those strategies. Come back, set the time aside in your calendar for lead generation in expireds. Call. Get the data, get the tools like Mojo Dialer, which is a great dialer to use if you're calling expireds. Set the time in your schedule and make the calls. It's really that simple. Again, if you are already the type that lead generates like this, double up your efforts, okay? Add an additional strategy or two to your current strategies. Double up your efforts. So if you're the type of person that got enough business just from your sphere and you didn't take on anything like farming, expireds, or for sale by owners, then pick up 1 or 2 of those strategies today and start implementing those strategies. The more contacts you make, the more business you will find. Yes, is it going to be tougher to find that business? Of course. In a shift, I already explained earlier in this video why it's going to be harder for you to find business, but the business is there. You just have to make more efforts. It's just like a baseball player that gets up to bat. If they want to increase their batting average, they got to increase the number of at-bats. Swing that bat as many times as you can. In our business, the swinging the bat is making the phone calls, active lead generation. So again, lead generation is one. Once you make the lead generation, you're going to run into business. You're going to run into people with questions. You're going to run into people that want to see properties. In other words, you have to set up the property alerts. You've got to get back to people when they ask you about a certain property. Lead follow-up is the number 2 most important income generating activity. You've got lead generation, lead follow-up. You've got to follow up with those people that said to follow up with them. So you've got to use the CRM to manage the follow-up, making sure that you can automate as much as the follow-up as possible, and then implement on the phone calls, which is your responsibility. So lead generation, lead follow-up, going on appointments. You're going to have, if you do these first 2 things right, you're going to find that your pipeline will start to show up again, and your pipeline will be full. If your pipeline died like mine did because the shock of the interest rate, where I literally went from having 8 buyers and a couple sellers to having 1 seller and 0 buyers, I had to go back to that lead generation, continue until now I have 4 or 5 buyers in my pipeline and an additional seller as well. And I took one of those lists. So this is how your pipeline shows up when you do the lead generation and the lead follow-up. Going on appointments is the next natural thing. If you're having trouble setting appointments with people, then you got to focus on number 5, which is practicing your scripts and your dialogues and your presentations. So maybe you go out and you double up on your efforts and you get a role play partner, somebody that you can give actual real-time calls as if they're going to play the part of the customer and you're going to play the part of the agent, and you practice and you rehearse those scripts and dialogues, closing objectives, learning the ABCs, which is action, benefit, and commitment, learning that structure and how you can get people to convert. This is all part of the 5 income generating activities. So if you do the lead generation, you do the lead follow-up, you go on the appointments, the next natural thing, which is number 4, is negotiating contracts. You're going to end up getting more buyer contracts and more listing contracts and maybe more commercial contracts if you're open to having a commercial presentation and a commercial conversation. Again, maybe that's where you double up on your efforts. Number 5 is practicing your presentations, your scripts, and your dialogues. So focus on the 5 things. Make sure you have the right strategies in place. And trust me, there's 3 huge reasons why you'll want to get into this business today or stay in the business and make sure you make it through the shift, which is happening in the moment of the market of the moment that we're in right now. So again, my name is Sean Poliseno. If you want to meet with me, you can click the link above for my calendar. You can call me. I'll put across the bottom of the screen right now my phone number. If you're interested in a one-on-one consultation about why the EXP model can better suit your business and surge you through this shift with more tools, more training, stock options, ownership in the company, revenue share, which is an additional passive income, mortgage loan income through the reload network, any of those things, call me. This is the real world of real estate, and I want to keep it real. So everything I'm talking to you about, I'm teaching to my team. I'm coaching agents. If you want to know about some of our coaching programs through Icon Coaching, check out iconcoaching.com for our programs and pricing today. If you're just looking for a real estate coach, not ready to join the team or not ready to join our brokerage, spend some time with me as a coaching client. I'd love to spend some more time with you. Like and subscribe to the channel so that you'll get a notice every time we drop more content. Our podcast is also on Spotify, Amazon Music, and iTunes if you're interested in listening to us there. Love spending time with you. Please reach out so that we can talk in the future. Thank you so much. Have a great week.